All right, welcome back, everybody. This should be chapter or lecture 14 or 15. This is the start of Unit 4. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. All the papers are up. Everything should be graded. I am missing one from someone who is having trouble with Storm. So I will get to that this morning. I'm sorry, I just got back from vacation. Okay, we're going to start with Honduras. We're going to skip over Intro 1 and we'll jump into political culture and history. Honduras is highly mestizo and very rural. It is a highly illiterate state. They're very, very poor, one of the poorest countries in South America. They are very highly export and remittance dependent. Remittances, remember, are currencies sent over from foreign countries back to family members, etc. But they're very they're sort of not really very diversified. Their focus is on bananas and coffees and sort of low-level maquiladora factories. And they don't really have much of a history of democracy or pluralism. They've always sort of lived under a military authoritarian regime. The military formally overturned their power to the civilians in 1982, but they've basically remained a very strong force in politics ever since. Honduras is nowhere near a sort of how would you even call that, an ossified democracy or a stable democracy? Nowhere near that. Military power was weakened during the 1990s, but it has been on its way up since President Manuel Zelaya was elected president. He was sort of a right wing, and yet he allied himself with Hugo Chavez and sort of pissed off both the right and the left. So, and then he tried to change the constitution to allow himself to run again, but the military refused to allow that to happen. The corruption in Honduras is very, very high and increasing in contemporary times. There are also extreme ties to drug lords, drug growth, the transport market, and they have a real problem with political and other assassinations, which is kind of a problem in the Central Corridor, even in Mexico. Their politics are highly fashionalized and personalistic. You'll sort of see that that's the way in a lot of these Central Corridor countries where they don't necessarily have a political ideology. They just sort of coalesce around some personality, basically. They also tend to use public service, quote unquote, as a way to gain control of funds rather than actual creation of public policy. And much of that is because public policy remains in the hand of the president. The president introduces almost all the legislation in Honduras. The legislature is very weak, and so is the judicial system. They have incredibly weak institutions, high level of corruption and vote buying. They have a real problem with journalist murders, especially during the 2010s and 2020s. And there are a lot of assassinations in that country, so it's a real problematic country. And as you'll see, Guatemala, which is its neighbor, isn't much better, which is the next chapter. So thanks for being here. Again, happy Thanksgiving. Have a great day.